Hey everyone, it's Mark. Today's episode is sponsored by Paint Care. Paint Care is the industry's own solution for the problem of post-consumer paint waste. The organization has already collected over 50 million gallons and redirected them from landfills and waterways. Paint Care currently operates in 10 states and the District of Columbia, with New York, the 11th state, coming online in May of 2022. Paint Care is both good for the environment and your business. 35% of dealers who sign up to be a Paint Care drop-off location report new customers shopping in their store as a direct result of their participation in Paint Care. To learn more about Paint Care, go to paintcare.org/retailers. Hey everybody, it's Mark. Thanks for joining me today with another episode of In the News. That's all the news for independent retailers in the paint, hardware, and lumber channels. Today is February 24th, and before we get going, as I do, I like to start these episodes with a shout out to the dealers that support my work in the independent channel. Today's dealer is Carter Strand of Strand Industrial Coatings in Marshalltown, Iowa. Marshalltown, also the home of toolmaker Marshalltown Trowels. Strand is an industrial coatings dealer who sells PPG, Temp Coat, and Gulf Coast paints, in addition to spray equipment and other industrial coatings equipment, and of course, Marshalltown Trowels. I continue to be grateful to the dealers who send me their swag to wear on these episodes and for supporting my work on behalf of independent retailers. If you want to show your support for the channel, send me a shirt, send me a hoodie, and I'll wear it on one of these episodes and I will give your store a shout out. In the meantime, thank you, Carter, for a really nice piece of swag. Brian, put a picture up of what this shirt looks like on the back. And now on with the news. Leading off the news today, the world's largest paint maker, Sherwin-Williams, announced that they have signed an agreement to expand their manufacturing capacity. The expansion of the Statesville, North Carolina facility is expected to cost in excess of $300 million and will double Sherwin-Williams' workforce in the state. The project includes a 36,000 square foot expansion of the company's current 200,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Statesville, a move which will add millions of gallons to the company's manufacturing capacity, according to CEO John Marikis. In addition to the increased manufacturing capacity, Sherwin-Williams will be adding another 800,000 square feet on this property of additional distribution and fleet management facilities. The company planning to add another 200,000 square feet as the needs arise in the future. This investment will not only allow us to meet the growing customer demand in the region, but it will also add a number of good paying jobs to our already vibrant employee base in the community, according to John Marikis, that's the CEO of Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams is already one of the largest employers in North Carolina with over 2,400 employees in the state. This expansion adding another 180 full-time positions. Good luck finding those employees, John. Construction is expected to begin in the third quarter of this year, with the project expected to be completed in 2024. In other news, the Farnsworth Group released their newest data as they track the home improvement segment. On the contractor side, the top three challenges for professionals were price, material availability, and the effects of COVID. Only 18% of contractors stated that they had delays for any reason on their jobs during the month of February. That's down 20% from January, and so hopefully some good news there. Of the 18% who did report delays, 40% of those stated that the job was stopped due to material shortages. 65% of contractors who responded stating their work was delayed at the very least in some way due to material shortages. 20% of those stating that those shortages were in paint. Those are the Sherwin-Williams customers that continue to walk into independent retailers' front doors looking for paint that they can roll on a wall. 60% of contractors reporting some level of labor shortages during the month of February, with more than 30% of the contractors reporting that those shortages were between moderate and severe. 30% of the respondents stated that they were specifically having trouble hiring painters, making painters the number two most challenging position to hire for, right behind plumbers. Also making the news this week, the NHPA, that's the North American Hardware and Paint Association, the trade group which represents independent paint, hardware, and lumber dealers, announced this week that the National Hardware Show will be merging with the International Builders Show and the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, effective in 2023. The groups scheduling their first show together in early February of 2023. The International Builders Show is the world's largest annual residential construction show for professionals in the building industry. The National Hardware Show, the International Builders Show, and the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show have complementary product offerings that will broaden buying and selling opportunities, said Beth Kassan. She's the vice president of the National Hardware Show. The National Hardware Show is the destination for uncovering trends and sourcing new products and suppliers. By hosting the show earlier in the year, this gives buyers an opportunity to kick off the year with discovery and connection, while allowing more time for more critical decisions before big buying events, said Ms. Kassan. These changes in the National Hardware Show do leave me wondering what effect it'll have on the Lancaster Show. The Lancaster Show, since 2008, has been put on in Las Vegas concurrently with the National Hardware Show. So if you're listening and you know what Lancaster's plans are for their show in 2023, I'd love to report that. Shoot me a text and let me know. The first joint National Hardware Show, International Builders Show, and Kitchen and Bath Show is scheduled to take place in Las Vegas, January 31st through February 2nd in 2023. Dealers wondering if they should attend this show, my answer is yes. First off, the show is in Vegas and it's 1 week before the Super Bowl. So if gambling is not legal in your state, go ahead and place your bet on the big game. But with sports gambling finally legal here in my home state of Connecticut, I will be going to the National Hardware Show for a different reason. These shows continue to be the best place for dealers to see it all under one roof. Not just what's new, and more than just buying opportunities, the National Hardware Show and other shows like it remain the best place for independent retailers to meet other retailers, as well as the executives of the paint, hardware, and lumber manufacturers and distributors who come to the shows. These are people who are not likely to walk into your stores to meet you, so these shows provide an outstanding opportunity to network and meet decision makers. Even if you don't have something on your mind to tell them, it's still a great chance just to introduce yourself, so that when you do have something on your mind, you already have their email address and can at least start with, hey, do you remember when I met you at the National Hardware Show? But before this combined show in 2023, there is still one more National Hardware Show standalone in Vegas, and that's in April of this year. I will be there and I'm looking forward to meeting some of you. Shoot me a text if you'd like to meet on the floor, walk around, enjoy some of the show with me, maybe have a drink after. Moving on, mytotalretail.com reported recently that the top 3 changes to retail since the onset of the pandemic have been how much consumers are willing to spend to obtain branded products, the adaptable nature of consumers, as well as the consumer's continued willingness to shop across multiple platforms. But it's the consumers showing their preference for the lower cost of private label products versus branded products, which I really want to bring to paint dealers' attention today. That is a very significant change in behavior, and it creates an excellent opportunity for paint dealers. Private label paints offer dealers outstanding gross profit margins, and without a doubt are better for the dealer in all ways than selling branded products. In addition to the higher profit margins, having your own private label helps support and extend your brand in your local market. These brands are owned by you, and that completely changes the leverage in your relationship with your paint manufacturer, the move immediately correcting a leverage imbalance that exists between dealers who are obviously smaller than much larger manufacturing companies that we buy paint from. Finally, some lumber news for some of my new lumber listeners. MarketInsider.com has reported that the price of lumber has surged almost 30% so far in the month of February, with the price of lumber futures hitting $1,205 per thousand board feet. That's a 29% increase over the closing price of $935 per thousand board feet on February 1st. That price, though, still well below the May 2021 high of more than $1,700 per thousand board feet of lumber. Demand for lumber remains high, and that, of course, means demand for paint and hardware will not be far behind. At a time when supply chain issues, the pandemic, and a truckers' protest in Canada are squeezing the supply, that is the cause for the increase in the price of lumber. We are only in February and already seeing record months in volume, said Michael Goodman, Director of Specialty Products for Sherwood Lumber. Goodman went on to explain that most anticipated a slowdown due to interest rates, but the heavy grind continues and will continue for some time, meaning lumber dealers can expect continued volatility in lumber prices, and the high demand for lumber means that paint retailers and hardware retailers can expect to see continued increased sales over the coming quarters. So that's it for In the News for the week of February 24th. I'm Mark Lipton. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this format, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.